Hi, I'm Denise Dryden, and I broadcast every Sunday from Bainbridge Island or wherever I happen to be, specifically to talk about things that I'm noticing out in the world, things that I can put into some sort of a tool or an approach for you. And today I want to talk about fluidity, the value of fluidity. What does that mean to be fluid? So what I always do is start with the dictionary, because it helps if we have an agreed upon context of what fluid is, right? So fluid is not a fixed shape. It yields to external pressure. It's liquid. It's a gas. It's able to flow easily, and it conforms to the outline of its container. So to be fluid means that there's no attachment to where it goes, and if you put a container around it, it goes okay. And if you take the container off, it goes okay. So in the Urban Dictionary, to be fluid is a feeling, it's a mood, it's an appearance. So it's like when you're cool, or when you're relaxed, or when you're calm. You know, she's fluid. She's got it together. That makes sense, right? So fluidity, when we take fluid and we add it as the action of, is to flow easily, to be smooth and elegant and graceful, to be changeable. I'm often think about the goddess Sita in the Hindu faith, and she was the goddess of surrender. And it wasn't that she was weak, it was that she was fluid. So if you're curious, go look up Sita, S-I-T-A. So I'm going to take a little jump and take you on an astrological tour for just a minute, because I think that they're connected. I want to talk about what it means to be an Aquarian. You know, I was raised in the 1960s listening to the Age of Aquarius, the music from Hair, Brazil 66, I'm dating myself, all of that. And Aquarians have always had a fascination to me. So an Aquarian is a water carrier, right? Fluid, water carrier. It's about being. Be here to be who you are. It's also about networks and information and collaboration. To know. It comes from that larger sense than the brain of knowing, to know and to trust that you know. And so it's about equality and no hiding and no secrets. And Aquarian is about opening minds and opening hearts. It's democracy, freedom, and humanitarian beliefs. So if we know that that is what an Aquarian, based on the Aquarius sun sign, is, we know that we've been coming out of, and there's really no historical validation as to when we are ending the Piscean age and shifting into the age of Aquarius. All we know is that it seems like the earth follows a system, and we can see it if we start watching all of the symptoms, which is what I try to do each week, is tap you on the shoulder and go, what are you seeing out there? What are you noticing? And so what I'm noticing is that fluidity is associated with Aquarian and this Aquarian age that's coming. So the Pisceans were to be in reference to something else, to be in relationship with, touch, align with. It's hierarchical, it's power, it's vertical. If you think about vertical, building things up from the bottom up and having somebody in power at the top. It's to attach or to align or to build towards a belief system or something that you share in common. So what happens is we come up with an institution, a structure, law, education, religion, postal services, medical services, and we develop a hierarchical system that we hold on to and we lean into, and it's our structure, and we hold on to that and we become like that. For the last 2,000 to 2,200 years, we've been exactly doing that, as you can see in history, being the historian. So the Aquarian is different because it's trusting to know, the third eye, the expanded knowing. It's networks, it's information, it's horizontal. It is across the plane of the earth, not building structures up. It's fluid, it's self-reliant, it's based on collaboration. So when we are shifting from a Piscean age to an Aquarian age, I would imagine that fluidity is something that's well worth learning. So fluidity is the new mastery. To me, it's where when I become more fluid, I am a better coach, I'm a better mother, I'm a better partner, I'm a better participant on this earth. So what does it really mean to become or to be fluid? So I found 5 things, and I know that there are a whole lot more. But for starters, let's just play with these today. So the first thing that I noticed about being fluid is a sense of self. You need to know who you are. You can't be going, oh, is that me or is that them? Oh, is that me? You have to know that you're an entire entity as you move through and adapt and blend and let go and ease in, right? You have to know where you begin and where you end. It's presence. You know, transformational presence with Alan Seal taught me it's presence. It's holding yourself, who you are. It's mastery over your nervous system, your breathing, your sympathetic, your parasympathetic. It's how you stabilize yourself so that wherever you go, you are not being affected by other people or other environments. To be fluid. That's the first one. Number 2, to be sovereign. Sovereign is to hold in your own power, to be who you are here to be, to refuse to give it away for security or beliefs or for money or for health insurance. It's when you stop allowing yourself to be subjugated by somebody else. It's when you stop subjugating yourself into your world. So to be sovereign is to say, I am my own entity and I'm not dependent for my livelihood, for the survival of my soul from this institution or this agency. That's number 2, to be sovereign. Number 3 is to let go of fear, the fear of change. Let go of your triggers, your reactions, to decalcify your belief systems, which is, I always did this when I was growing up, so this is what I'm going to pass on. Wrong. You cannot hold onto these rigid ways and impose them or shift them or move them through life, because what we're seeing is that they're chunky, they're heavy, they have sharp edges, they weigh us down, they stop us from being fluid. So, you know, when we talk about fear, it's about letting go of those triggers and those reactions and that separation. That's number 3. Number 4, get curious. Lean in, ask questions, try new things, teach yourself to expand. Go into neighborhoods you've never been in. Eat at restaurants you don't know. Become aware of different ethnicities and languages and textures and colors. Start teaching your body what change feels like, what you like, what you don't like. Get out of your calcified lifestyle. So get curious. Go out and explore. Number 5, blend. I can't say it enough. This is the era to learn how to blend, whether it is to blend theories, beliefs, practices, collaboration. Sometimes with some of my friends who have been experiencing cancer, they've been blending Eastern medicine with Western medicine, and they find the blend is better than one or the other. Hobbies, families, friends. Learn the power of divinely, diversely putting together collaborations, whether it's race, whether it's, a gender, whether it's age. Have friends that are way older than you, way younger than you. Look for people of color if you aren't, and get to know what is it like to be blending your world with everything. The more you blend, the more fluid you are. The less you blend, the more rigid you are, the more stuck you get as this change, and the more painful the change is as it moves forward. So I always put this in context to being a parent to children in this era, and what do? So what we know is that our kids are already doing this. I'm going to go back to like the 1990s to 2000. So about 3 decades here. So 90 to 2000, there was this new learner that showed up into the world that had an expanded awareness, sort of hyper focus and inattentive issues, and they called it Asperger's. And it was sort of quantum learning. It's brilliant brains that learn differently. And they started in the school system, and the school system's like, we don't know what to do with these kids. So we label them and we send them to therapy, and we become really concerned about how to capture them and teach them to learn in a way that helps them. 2000 to 2010, we saw the advent of technology, and it started to change how fast we have to talk and shift and keep the attention of, or how we can slow it down. It's multidimensional brain development, and this technology is part of the Aquarian age. Technology is a resource of reaching the horizontal, right? So these kids were born into the era of high technology. They've been using it since they were little. They've been developing it. They blend it with their toys can be playful, but they can also be electronic. They can have music. So they've been in preschools. They've been in camps. They're learning how to blend already, right? So then we come to the 2010 to 2018. The last 8 years has been what I'm going to call the increase in acknowledging the highly sensitive, the empathic, that intuitive quantum learner who knows what they know, like an Aquarian, is collaborative, like an Aquarian, who is blending and not seeing the difference in gender, race, age, levels of learning. They have friends from every diverse group. They go by what I'm going to call vibrational collaboration. If it feels good to them, they step forward. If it doesn't feel good, you can't get them to participate. So you can't get them to go to school if they don't like the way school feels. You can't get them to sit up straight and put their napkin on their lap and all the things that your grandmother wants you to do. Because they're like, why? And so what we have is this open-mindedness that's coming. And so with 3 generations or 3 decades of kids, they're teaching us fluidity. And if we as parents don't understand the value of fluidity, how are we going to meet them and match them? All we do is separate more and more, or become firmer and firmer. So using the analogy, if we have vertical and we have horizontal, we have to learn how to dismantle all of these belief systems and become more fluid, more blended, more diverse, more collaborative. So, are we learning from our kids? Are we able to learn from our kids and our grandkids and let them show us what they see? Are we making it easier for them, or are we making it harder for them? So when we as adults, when we as parents, when we as leaders, when we as business owners learn fluidity, we become open, we become malleable, we become flexible. It is the rebalancing of the masculine and the feminine, because the masculine is very structured, very solid oriented. Feminine is going to be fluid. It's going to be responsive. It's going to be receptive. It's going to be nurturing. It's going to be a community building. So fluidity flows like information. It spreads. It seeps in. It gets around rigid pieces, and it partners with them. So learning fluidity is the number one skill that I'm going to say from this point forward. Everything we do needs to be about fluidity. If you want more information about this, or you're curious, check me out on my website, DeniseDrydenCoaching.com. You can schedule a call. We can have a cup of tea together, and we can explore whether this is something that would be fun to be coached in. How to learn to be fluid. So, give me a call if you're interested. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the rest of these. I think we're on the last 2 weeks of the summer, so enjoy getting outside. You take care. Bye-bye.